Got your Play Alberta. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. And for a limited time only, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code GYB50. That's how Alberta wins.
Somebody's been playing around on the creative side. Zuby, nice work on the Christmas intro. Maybe cheering people up. Oiler fan, probably not feeling great after that game. Disappointing loss for them against the Minnesota Wild. Look, tail end of a long road trip. That's a good team. And we're looking forward to breaking it all down. I'm Ryan Rishaug. We've got Struddy. We will have Brownie. And we got Zuby, who's been hard at work. Nice job, buddy. As always, our show brought to you by Timberhouse Developments, the leader in custom and infill developments with the knowledge and experience to bring your dream to life. If you're tired of cookie cutter, copy and paste designs that don't have soul, well, go see the team at Timberhouse and discover how naturally inspired living can make your life better. Take all the guesswork out of your infill project and work with experienced leaders. Visit timberhouse.ca, bringing your ideas to life. I'm coming at you from the beautiful Timberhouse studio out here in Sherwood Park. See what you can dream up with the great team over at Timberhouse Developments. Little Christmas theme action, Zuby. Someone's been playing around in the edit suite. Nice work, friend.
Yeah, I'm messing around while I'm here watching the game. You should hear all the one. There's about 100 versions on the cutting room floor too, but I like this one. I got another one. I got a little a cappella thing I'm going to throw in later that's pretty cool too.
I like it. You're very much in the Christmas spirit, Struds. I think we need to see the video, Zuby. I'm not sure if you can pull in the family video at some point, maybe for later on in the show. Maybe it could even be our play of the day, but your Christmas setup, once again, does not disappoint. Oh. Your children growing up with inflatable dolls all around them. How many you got out front there, buddy? We'll take a look at it later, but how many?
It's around 10, I think, total, including the 2 off to the other side. I'm not actually sure of the exact number because I'm kind of like popping them up. My daughter, the Stitch one, that's like hers. It didn't go up until just now. I'm like trickling them out. We got kids walking by the house saying, "Oh, it looks great. Is it done?" No, not yet. There's still more to go up, but I think I'm done now. So
I love it. Anything inflatable in front of your house, Struds?
No,
ever?
No, my wife, I don't want to make this about her. I feel like I'm always, but I know she killed my 12-foot Santa last year. And I asked her to unplug it in a windy storm. She didn't. It was ruined because she didn't unplug it. And she says she forgot. Yeah, I forgot a lot of things too that she wanted me to do. And so broken Santa. So my heart wasn't in it, guys. I'm not going to lie. I lost the Christmas blow up doll spirit.
And I bet when you forget something like that, you don't bring it up again though, right? You just let it. That's the end of it.
I may, but Zuby, no lives are lost. I no one dies because I forget something. So major mistake by her. So I took a year off. I just threw my hands up and said I'm done.
Understood.
By the way, anybody listening on the stream, we're up fast here. So if Chris Knobloch in his post-game availability, if there's any update on Tristan Jarry, if somebody wants to fire that into the stream, Zuby, I'm not sure if we're monitoring that or not, but he didn't have an update on Jarry before the game. But I wondered if maybe he might have something post-game. But we wanted to get the show up and running, and so we're rocking a little bit early. Shona murdered Santa. That's something, that's an interesting one. We'll have to get her side of that story at some point, Struds. That is a harsh accusation.
It's fact. It's been proven in the court of law in our own house here. So I don't know what. It's just facts.
The Strudwick Kangaroo Court. All right. I'll get to the bottom of an answer on that one. Okay, we got a game to break down here. Really good Minnesota team that just got a lot healthier. They got Quinn Hughes on the blue line. Both their goaltenders are unreal. They're just piling up the wins. So the Oilers on the tail end of a road trip ran smack dab into a bit of a wheel, and the Minnesota Wild pick up the win this afternoon. Let's break it down. Brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. Hockey lives at the Canadian Brewhouse during every Oiler game day at any Edmonton and area location. Enter to win Oiler home game tickets at Rogers Place. Plus, enjoy a $1 off Molson Canadian and Coors Light tankards. 30-plus beer on tap. 50-plus TVs at all locations. It is the Canadian Brewhouse. Okay, Struds. I mean, I thought that the compete level was pretty good tonight. I felt like that team wanted that game. They worked. But is it just me, or was it sloppy? A little too sloppy. Calvin Pickard, I thought, did his job, but just you get down 2-0 to that team and things are a little sloppy. You work as hard as you want. You're probably not going to be able to beat that team when you're playing that sloppy.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? It was they tried. Like, it wasn't like they didn't try, or they were just like, we're just going to skip over this little pit stop in the Wild and we're going to fly over it. I didn't really feel that at all. But I think your word there, you're on a road trip. You've been 5 games in a row, your 5th game on the road against a really good team. Your details have to be a little bit tighter. And it started with the first goal. I didn't like how the puck came to Ekholm, and then Ekholm, tried to do probably too much. He tried to turn a lemon into, lemonade, and it just right away, Boldy has a breakaway, right? And I get it. Like, he can do those types of things, but just, you're at the end of a road trip. Let's just play, not conservatively, but maybe a little bit more. Sure. Let's be more conservative. So then they're down 2. They're chasing it after that. I didn't love that second goal in the power play, but now you're chasing to get back into it. So yeah, it's one of those things you have to understand where you're at. So it wasn't lack of effort, wasn't execution. It was just maybe those little details in the moment, momentary breakdowns.
Yeah, you took us to the 1-0 goal there after the Ekholm turnover. We'll push ahead. Leon Draisaitl in the offensive corner throws a couple of cross checks. I agree with Draisaitl. It was a bit of a soft call for sure, but obviously we don't know what he said, but in that moment he snaps and ends up sitting in the box for 4 minutes. And that proved to be pretty costly, Struds, like against, a good Minnesota team that's already up 1-0. That is what it is. You have to be more disciplined than that if you're Leon Draisaitl, and I know it's frustrating, but you just can't be doing that.
He knows it. I mean, it's not surprising. I thought the rest of the game, he just looked on edge a lot, like just ready to snap on someone or anything, that. Mm-hmm. So been a long road trip, no doubt about it, but other teams go through this as well. But yes, I agree. Now, does he make that play? Does he do that in the playoffs? We really haven't seen a lot of that, so I don't think so. But still, the trip was great. 6 points out of 10, it's great. I should say it's good, but 8 points would have been unreal. So yeah. I'm not blaming the whole loss on him, but just it goes back to my opening comment. Just little details. There wasn't one big one. It was just little things all along that added up to this tonight.
Yeah, we'll keep working our way through the flow of the game. Mangiapane, much-needed goal, his first in 22. Nice seeing eye shot there from Evan Bouchard. And, hopefully for Mangiapane's sake, that kind of unlocks a little bit of something. He's been coming a little bit here and there. I haven't been as impressed with him as some recently. But, I mean, something good had to come at some point. And maybe this will just be a tiny little spark for him, Struds. I don't know. That feels optimistic even coming out of my mouth.
No, I think you're onto something. You can't just people, the problems that fans want these guys who are struggling to go from 0 to 10 and just happen. It doesn't happen a lot. It's just like you get a cold. You don't just, Friday you feel like a bag of turds and then wake up, Saturday morning and just be fine. A bad cold, it takes a little while to get off, to get up and get your energy back and get going. Now these guys aren't sick, but their games aren't fully healthy. They're not going as quick as they can. So you're just looking for anything to get unlocked and just feel better about yourself. So what I liked about this goal, I liked the run of play before. The Oilers were on it. They're moving the puck. They had some good, decent offensive time offensive zone time in English. And I thought they did pretty well with that. So I like that, especially with Mangiapane being out there. That's how he's got to be. I don't see him as a real off the rush guy anymore. I see him a guy that's going to work hard and be heavy on the puck and figure it out.
Connor McDavid continues his hot offensive play, ties the game up at 2 on a power play. But then Struds, there were a couple of daggers that Minnesota delivered, and that was a dagger at the end of the first period. Ryan Hartman off of a Leon Draisaitl turnover and then some bizarre coverage. Like, what the hell happened there?
Yeah, so I'm glad you recognize that the forwards maybe could have been different. The time you're down 2-0. I know Brownie won't ever recognize it, but you're down 2-0, get it back to 2-2 with, I'm just going to call it a minute left just to make the math simple. Okay, guys, let's just get into the intermission tied. And we're like, okay, we're actually in pretty good shape. Well, the puck doesn't go quite where they need to. Could have probably made a different play there. Now the puck is thrown all the way up across to the other side, to the right wing as they come in on the zone. And both Riley Stillman and Savoy both go to the guy basically standing still near the outside of the blue line. And guess what? All of a sudden you have a guy buzzing through the middle. That guy's a pretty good goal scorer. And Middleton gets the puck back and he passes it through, creates it. So they took what was essentially at worst a 3-on-3. They turned it into a 2-on-1. The Oilers did. So two youngish players that, you got to understand the moment. Like, God, just get out of this tied 2-2 and you're feeling really good about yourself. Now that just changed. I think it changed the whole game.
Okay. You got to understand the moment, right? You were down 2-0. Your team has battled back in. The players on the ice got to understand the moment. I agree with you. Did the coaching staff need to understand the moment and not have their third pairing on the blue line in the final minute of a period where you've been fighting for your life? Was it a mistake having Stillman and Emberson on the ice for the last minute of that period, considering the way it had gone? I don't know if that's fair criticism. It feels like cherry picking and easy, but I do wonder.
Yeah, no, and I love that you brought it up. I think because I was wondering it myself. So I look at it two ways. Yes, they should not have been out there, for sure. The second side is, how do these guys, especially Emberson, you want to trust this guy. They have him on the penalty kill, and not that Emberson was really at fault in this one, but maybe Stillman a little bit more. You want to trust these guys to get this, to grow their confidence so you can learn to play them. Well, it burned them tonight. And it'll be interesting in the future what they do instead. But, the other flip side is your second pairing has a rookie on it as well. It's not like you have five studs, no Wallman and Kulak out there, right? So,
but Nurse Stastny would be a notably safer play, like significantly.
Yes, but I mean, Stillman has more NHL games than Stastny.
Stastny,
and then Emerson's probably more as well, right? He's probably got a few more than him as well. So, yeah, listen, I'm not going to argue. I would not have put him out there in that moment, but I do understand. Like, we got to trust. You got to build trust in these guys and them to feel that confidence. But it really tough read when both Savoy and Stillman go up there and jump that guy for no real reason, no communication, and that's communication, right?
Yeah, for sure. Andrew Mangiapane on that goal being a dagger.
Obviously tough, right? But we gotta learn from it, and even me personally gotta learn from it. I was out there at the end, right? So I gotta pick up some guys there, and just be better for tomorrow.
Darnell Nurse post game.
Yeah, a lot of offense there in the first. I thought second period played really well in limited chances, and they were able to capitalize there in the third. But picks was great for us tonight, and
there was a lot going on.
Okay, our sound brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Should you need a new furnace, heat pump, hot water tank, garage heater, Weiss Johnson is now offering 24 months, no interest, equal payments, OAC to make your purchase easier heading into the Christmas season. Their family helping your family for nearly 50 years. Visit WJJingle.com for exclusive specials just for Got Your Back Jingle lovers. Jingle!
Weiss Johnson, whoa. We're proud to be local.
So you're rolling into the third period at that point, and it is 3-2 still. Just taking a look here. Oh, yeah, pretty significant. I thought Calvin Pickard made some good saves in this game. I thought he made some big saves in this game. I know you said you didn't necessarily love the power play goal over the shoulder. I mean, it was a hell of a shot, but he had a clean look at it, Struds. But as we're going to go through the mistakes in the game here, this would be considered Calvin Pickard, for me, getting his job done. You?
You're not talking about the fourth goal? Just saying in between the third and the fourth goal? Is that
No,
what you
I
mean?
just mean in general. His night in general.
Yeah, he gave you a punch. He gave you a chance. What more do you want from your backup goalie, right?
Yeah.
He, especially after the third goal, he really kind of locked it down. They had some good chances and a lot of ticked pucks tonight, or tipped pucks, like redirections. I think Jack made the comment. There's one that seemed to be ricochet 3 times, and he looked in control of his game. Matt Boldy is an unbelievable player. I don't know if, although Oilers fans are probably getting a sense. I mean, that guy is money when he comes in and shoots. And so the goal and then the breakaway, this isn't a fourth liner. This is a high level elite American player that scores on him. I think he it's all you can ask for. You're not looking down saying, oh man, this guy screwed us tonight.
So made the great save on Kaprizov at 3-2. Then down at the other end, Gustafsson, massive save on Leon Draisaitl there. And down the other way it goes, Struts. I hated the coverage on this 4-2 goal. Tarasenko ends up scoring it, but I thought 14-2, the coverage was poor between them. I thought Draisaitl was gliding a little on the back check there. It was just, that's another dagger of a goal, but self-inflicted.
Yeah, well, it starts with the puck. I think it was it Trennan that threw it up, and Bouchard tried to grab it and didn't quite, and they pressured him. So I've been in that situation before when someone throws a puck into the air and you're trying to catch it, put it down, make a play while there's pressure on you. There's a lot going on there. And the puck doesn't do what Bouchard wants to do. And now you're on your heels and your partner's trying to think, okay, what the hell's going on here? And I'm not putting this all on Bouchard, but that's a really tough play. I've been in that. I hated when they used to throw it like that. If they threw it, no pressure, no problem. But under pressure, it's really hard. And Bouchard's pretty good at that, handling that situation. So it comes to him. Now there's a live grenade inside the blue line. They're trying to sort it out. And you know what I liked what Tarasenko did? Let's give him credit. He kind of went to the net. Then he ended up kind of curving wide. And I think everyone forgot that he existed. Pick is unable to control the rebound and or jump on it, kind of fires behind him, hits the post, and boom, out of nowhere comes, a guy who scored 1 million goals in his career. So yeah, the whole sequence was messy. But I think it all started with the play by Trennan. I give him a lot of credit for that because chaos ensued right after that.
You know what I didn't like? I didn't like that Bouchard was angry there was no penalty, and he stopped skating and did this. He looked at the ref, just for a split second, Struds. He was mad that he didn't get the call, and he was a split second behind breaking up that play, right? So and Bouchard does this. He has a tendency, if he doesn't get a call, he'll stop playing and look at the refs and be angry. You got to recognize danger that you don't have that quarter second, that split second, and then lackadaisical. And as soon as it's in the net, now he's mad at the refs. And it's you got to play through that stuff, especially when you're defending. You got to just play through that stuff.
Yeah, that close to game. So you think he wanted a penalty called, or do you think he wanted the offside call?
No, up at the line, I think he wanted one. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. That's why I hate when players try to ref the game. I've told you my pet peeve when a player puts his hand up because it's icing or hand up because it goes up in the net. Just play it out. The refs don't need your help. Let them figure that out. That isn't your job. And you can just lose your focus for a second. And that's one of my pet peeves. It always has been. Just play the game.
Go back and take another look at that one. You'll see him just for a split second. He gets frustrated at the ref and kind of gives him a little bit of a look there. I thought it was a little bit goofy. Let's get to our storyline, brought to you by Play Alberta. With casino winners every hour, jackpots worth millions, and revenue that stays in the province. There's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, you can score a $50 free bet when you make a minimum $50 deposit using the code GYB50. Start playing with your game sense and find out if you are Alberta's next winner. Didn't hit on today, Zuby. Sorry, I was trying to find it here and I couldn't recall what you had thrown forward, buddy. What did you have?
Yeah, that's okay. We went with the three-way on the Oilers, which is where it separates it into not just win and loss. It's win and regulation, draw, or loss. And the road team had won 4 games in a row in this series, so we went with the Oilers to win in regulation and over 6.5 goals. So we got half of that. Unfortunately for Oilers fans. Not the other half.
Missed on the other half. Yeah, there you go. All right, buddy. Well, you've been hot lately. Struds, overall, though, I mean, this road trip, so it's a 5-gamer. There's 10 points on the line, and they're sitting there with 6 coming into this game. It's already a successful road trip. So, you can be disappointed about today. You can be frustrated about today, but the Oilers are now done in the Eastern Conference. No more road trips out there. Their schedule's been a nightmare. And they pick up 6 out of 10 here on this trip. So it's kind of like drill down on today, sure. Bigger picture, like this is turned. The Oilers are playing a better brand of hockey here.
It makes a big difference not having to go all the way out to that time zone. It really does. And the flying, it's all done. Knowing that is fantastic. Now, some guys will have a pretty long flight when they go to the Olympics, but most of the team will have some time off. So I think this is really, really important detail that we're talking about. And the teams kind of played their way back into a good playoff position, right? Or a playoff position, maybe not a solid one, but a pretty good one. They have the Golden Knights tomorrow. The Golden Knights play tonight in Calgary at 8:00. So that's a late one. The Oilers should be home before that game starts. So that's a really nice turnaround for them. Like, currently it's 4:15 in the capital city. And, I don't know that Minnesota is 3 hours. Is it even 3 hours? I always kind of thought Denver and Minnesota about the same. So they'll be home. They could be on their couches watching this game tonight. So very positive for them. And then they get back at it tomorrow.
The other thing to keep in mind with Vegas, they're really beat up. Like Eichel and Theodore are not even on the trip. I think Carlson's status is even somewhat up in the air, and they're not going to have their starter. So I believe it'll be Carter Hart that plays in that game. So a banged up Vegas team. A win today, and they'd have been right there for top spot in the division, and then with a real opportunity tomorrow against Vegas. But bottom line here, with the quality of this little run, Struds, the standings were tight. They were tight this year. And the Oilers getting off to the crappy start, the alarm bells never really had to go off that loud because nobody was really pulling away, right? Think about how poor the Oilers were for the first 2 months of the season, and yet here they are within striking distance of the division lead.
And one of the things that the Vegas is missing this year is a lot of offense from their back end, right? No Pietrangelo, who I've been screaming this, that I would not have taken Pietrangelo. Sorry, Marner instead of Pietrangelo. And I recognize the age. I get all that, but he moves the puck well, and he's getting older for sure. Look at the points from their back end. Hanifin doesn't have a lot of points now. He's been hurt. Shea Theodore's just gotten going maybe the last month, and that's about it back there, guys. Not a lot of offense being created back there. Guess who that hurts? The forwards for Vegas. It makes a difference. Ask Toronto Maple Leafs if they like how they're getting the puck or what's being done on the offensive blue line. So that's something to really consider. And for the Oilers, they don't even have Wallman, a guy who does generate in the offensive end and create, extends plays in the offensive zone. So that's something to really watch for Vegas. It is a big deal. Marner has 6 goals. This isn't a banger. This isn't the Colorado Avalanche come in here tomorrow. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this game. Actually, I'll be in there. Dressing up as Santa Claus. No, just kidding. But really looking forward to this game tomorrow.
Should be a good one. Okay, before we get to break, let's crunch some numbers, shall we? Earlier on this season, we were tracking the Oilers' defensive metrics through Sport Logic, and they were right near the bottom in some really important defensive metrics, Struds. And so we just want to circle back on some statistics from Sport Logic. That's Crunching the Numbers, brought to you by McDonald's. Who's of Canadaville, do be warned. The Grinch is back and he's feeling quite scorned. He's built a worse box with odd socks as a prize and even left behind a Who Hash surprise. Looking to see the Grinch's big reveal? It's only at McDonald's, his Grinchiest meal, for a limited time only while supplies last at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada and, of course, here in Northern Alberta. Thanks, Zuby. Yeah, got through that. That was tight. That was my best one yet.
Very thoughtful.
Struds, it's going to take some time for them to dig out, considering how bad these metrics were. So these are not overly impressive, but they are getting better.
It's like my grade 10 math. Started slow, got better. So they're starting to get off the mat. I would say that they are on the mat for a lot of these. And if I recall, they were, in the 30s for all of these. I believe, Shogger, you might have a better memory than I.
Pretty close, yep.
Yeah, they're starting to get off the map, or the mat, I should say, a lot better. Like Hulk Hogan with his arm in the air, shaking his head. So they'll never, I shouldn't say never. I think it's almost impossible for them to get out of the 20s because it's so bad. It was so bad to start. But we've been watching every game, and a lot of these numbers are in the single digits when you look at it game in, game out recently.
All right, that's crunching the numbers, courtesy our friends at McDonald's. All right, when we come back, we're going to break down some more elements of this game. We'll get to our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center poll as well. We got Brownie Points and Struddy's World. Ask us anything. Make sure you get your comments in. Zuby will collect those for our final segment of the show where you get a chance to interact with Struds and I. Throw us a like in the break. We'll be right back with tons of content here on Got Your Back, presented by Timber House Developments.
Mainline Water and Sewer specializes in sewer line repair and replacement using advanced trenchless methods for fast, clean results. They provide detailed sewer assessments and scoping to identify problems before they become costly. Serving both residential and commercial properties, no job is too big or too small, and with over 40 years of experience, they've seen it all. Trust Mainline to keep your lines flowing smoothly. At Modern Measure, every item of clothing starts from scratch and is designed from the ground up, based on both your style preferences and current fashion trends. Their clothing is fully designed to give you the exact look you're looking for, down to the smallest details and customization. The Modern team will work with you to make sure that you not only look and feel great, but make the most of your investment. On the ground floor of Edmonton Tower downtown, Modern Measure.
Rolling right along in a very Christmassy edition of Got Your Back. It is time for our takeaways. Great job, Zuby. Brought to you by Shandos Construction. Shandos doesn't just hire talent, they invest in their talent. They're 100% employee owned, so when their people grow, the whole company grows. Ready to build something that matters? Apply now at shandos.com/apply. That's CHANDOS.com/apply. Connor Ingram going to get the start, I would assume, tomorrow against the Vegas Golden Knights, Struds. Boy, Oiler fans have been clamoring for this since they acquired him. The quality of play in the American League based on the numbers has not been great, but it is what it is. The starting goalie got hurt. Next man up. We thought maybe Tompkins. It's going to be Ingram. What do you expect here, pal?
Well, he's fighting to get his NHL career back on track. So I think he's really going to compete. And I think that's a good thing. I said it the previous last episode, is that you can't choose when you get your second chance. Here's another chance. So I think he's going to be really excited and compete like crazy. And, at this time, that's really all you can ask for. His game is not in order based on the types of results we've seen down there in the HL. But let us compete. Let him compete. Let him get some time up here. And, maybe it's a fresh start to the year, right? It's like, yeah, I've had some games, didn't go the way I want, but I'm coming up here in a fresh start. The team's playing pretty well in front of them, of the goalies right now. And they'll give him a little, they'll probably try to help him out. Not that they don't try to help every goalie out, but I'm very intrigued to see how this goes, because if he can show anything that's decent, that'll definitely let Stan Bowman sleep a lot better Sunday night. If it's a pull job, Stan will not sleep Sunday night. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Well, and awaiting news on Tristan Jarry. I think Knobloch should have a pregame availability, I think, tomorrow. So maybe there'll be an update at that point. Obviously, he flew home. There was some testing that was required, put on injured reserve. It's not good, Struds. Like, it's going to be, I mean, to me, this is minimum probably 10 days, 2 weeks kind of thing in a best case scenario. I don't think he's just going to suddenly resurface. And this is a situation where, I mean, the Christmas break, they get a few days off. That comes at a decent time. But this is not ideal, and this will be some adversity for this group. And Calvin Pickard can only do so much here, right? He's not designed to carry a team. He's just not. So what happens if this is 2 months? Like, what do you do?
Well, if it's 2 months, you've got a major problem, right? Major problem. If it's a month, can you just figure it out? Can you just grind it out with the group of goalies you have and hope that someone catches fire? Because none of these guys are able to play 70% of the games, 80% of the games. So it's a 50-50 split. I think we know what I feel fairly comfortable suggesting that Pickard is going to kind of just do what he did tonight. He's going to give you a chance. He's going to fight. That's what he has done. And he seems to find the right moment to step up when required. Connor Ingram's a wild card. Tompkins he's not even the deck. It's such a big wild card. So, if it's more than a month, you may have to make a move, which would be crippling because that's going to cost you to figure that out. And, they're talking about Alex Line in Buffalo, and Jarmo Kakalainen is not going to be generous in the terms if you're going to try to get him.
No
and I don't think
kidding.
he's that great.
Yeah. Canadian in Cambridge. Finally listening live for the first time from Cambridge, England. Love the show. Listen to every episode. Often defending Rishaug. Well, good sir. The family loves Struddy. But then again, Homer is their fave Simpson. Well played,
What?
Canadian in Cambridge.
Well, good day, mate. Mate, as it say down under.
No, that's, yeah. All right. Canadian in Cambridge. England, Struds. England.
From St. Albert originally.
Yes.
Oh, really? Do you got an English accent in there, Struds? Cheerio.
What? What is
Do you have
that?
an English
Is that your
accent?
accent?
Can you do the English?
That's actually
Cheerio.
not bad.
Oh, it was one
Sounds
word.
like Harry. Sounds like Mary Poppins. That's pretty good.
Or do you have a St. Albert accent, Struddy?
No. I there's nothing I want to take in from St. Albert. I hate St. Albert. They would pound us when I was younger.
Yeah.
Well, they would in hockey, everything. They'd beat the hell out of us, and then now my kids' teams would get spanked by them. I had to go actually introduce Joe McGinley when they renamed that arena, and that's what I said. I said, I'm glad everyone's here having a good time because I hate St. Albert. Because I used to get beat and everyone's just dying, but I wasn't laughing.
Yeah, we did too. I actually played against Jerome when he was in Pee Wee AAA in St. Albert. And they used to just take us to the absolute woodshed. They had a couple of huge defensemen and just like, I don't know, water was different out there back then or something. So it was not, St. Albert was not a pleasant place. But then I got to Kamloops and we took both Sherwood Park and St. Albert to the woodshed a few times. So that was nice. Okay, let's get to our Relentless Player of the Game, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services. It's an Edmonton charity relentless in helping 16 to 24-year-olds step out of harm's way and into meaningful work. Make the change today right here at home in your community. Visit ucan.ca. Got your back. A very proud monthly sponsor over at UCAN Youth Services. Who are you going to give the nod to today, Struds?
Well, I'm going on the other team, and I'm not sure this will be received, but Trennan, Yakov Trennan. Every time I watch this guy play, I'm like, God, I like the way he plays. He had 9 hits tonight. The other Russian in the game, Podkolzin, had 6. So it wasn't like he was also good. But I thought that Trennan was noticeable today with his physicality and the game-winning, was it the game-winning goal? No, the 4th goal he was responsible for. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Trennan on a guy who doesn't probably get a lot of love, even in his own market.
Yep. All right, I like it. The YouTube poll tonight is about Stastny. Let's have a quick discussion about him, Struds. Where are you at so far with his play? And for those that might have been concerned about Brett Kulak's exit, what are the early returns saying to you about how concerned people should be or not?
I knew nothing about him prior to trading for him. Then I reached out to a couple of people once they traded. The trade was done, and I said, you're gonna like this guy, and they were right. I do like him. Inexperienced for sure, but he's around the puck a lot. He defends with his feet, just like Kulak did. His stick could be a little bit better. And what I mean by that is that, he gets his body into the right place, and sometimes his hands are in the air. His stick is in the air. I'd like to see him try to get his stick in the passing lane, or maybe put it on someone else's stick, like, blade to blade, just to kind of defend it. But he'll get that. Kulak did have that. But for a guy with 80 NHL games, he's not out of place terribly beside Darnell Nurse.
Yeah, I think that's a great assessment. We talked about that nice save that Calvin Pickard made on Kaprizov. That could have been a lot more dangerous. Kaprizov with speed coming off the wing.
Yeah.
But it was Stastny that was there, 3 hard strides, and cut off any chance for Kaprizov to try and take it to the net or the middle of the ice. He didn't actually make a play on the guy. He didn't make a play on the puck, but that's an example of where that extra burst of speed, that foot speed, created an extremely dangerous situation, or turned an extremely dangerous situation into one that was manageable by Cal Pickard, because he's got such great feet.
And sometimes it's not so much about, running the guy into the wall. It's about beating him to a spot so he can't get to his spot where he wants to shoot it. And that spot can be anywhere. And you can feel it as a D where the guy's trying to get to, and you're trying to beat him there. And then he has to maybe step a little bit out, or not take the shot at all, or get your stick on the puck. So, I listen. Kulak has been a really good Oiler. He's been a really good NHL player, but you need to turn over the lead. And this is what the turnover looks like, especially for a third rounder. I'm guessing they'll try to sign him this summer to, I'd try at least a 2-year deal, a million something or whatever, maybe an Emerson type deal. It's not it's not bad. The change isn't bad there.
Yeah, Stoff's already talking. He was asking me about it on his show on Friday, and then he mentioned it at the intermission tonight, that his agent's going to be getting a call, and like Stoff's all about trying to get him signed up. I think he likes the early returns. What I would say is it's one thing to step up into the top 4 in December and, put some good games together. He's clearly a third pairing defenseman, clearly. It's another thing to step into the top 4 against the Dallas Stars in a conference final, because Matthias Ekholm got hurt, right? An entirely different ball of wax. And that's what you knew you had in Brett Kulak. So I agree. I think early returns are good, but I'm going to temper it a little bit. There was a little stretch of games, remember, where Ty Emerson, it was like, oh boy, what might this guy be able to be? And then all of a sudden the weight of the season crunched down on him, and it adjusted. So I'm gonna temper the enthusiasm a little, but I agree that the early returns are good. What say you? We ask. Let's get to our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. Uncle Al and Scotty are giving our Got Your Back listeners the gift of golf this Christmas. TJ and the Christmas elves grinding to help you find the best gifts for the golfer on your list. Purchase a gift card between December 1st and 24th of $100 or more. You get 10% back as a gift for you. Pick up yours at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. It is DeBoer's. Zuby, our Stastny-related poll.
Yeah, so pretty simple. The question is, how are you feeling about what you've seen from Spencer Stastny so far? The options are, first option is great, he's playing as well as Kulak. Second option is optimistic about the early returns. Third option is some holes in his game. And the fourth option is, I'll judge him in the playoffs.
All right. I like those. I have a feeling lots of people are going to be optimistic about the early returns. That seems like he's come in and done a pretty good job here in the early going. And interesting. So Stoff told me the other day that he had played, because I asked if he'd played much left to my buddy in Nashville. He said, or if he'd played much right. And he said no. But apparently he did play a lot of right in the American Hockey League, Struds, because he's taken reasonably comfortably to being on that right side.
And he skates so well. It really does make a difference. I didn't find playing the offside was that bad. There are advantages and disadvantages for sure, but some guys just don't want to do it. But for a young
off
player,
the glass and out on the forehand versus off the glass and out on the backhand.
No, I'd actually say no, because you come around the net, the puck's on your forehand, right? When you're on your right side.
Yeah.
And then when you're defending, your stick's on the outside. So a left shot winger's coming down, your stick's out there. And if he tries to go in the middle, you just grab him by the logo and throw him back in the wall. So I didn't there's a lot of areas I thought it was easier. I think in the middle of the ice is a little trickier. But I mean, now listen, I didn't have the puck on my stick 4 minutes a night like Quinn Hughes, but I think for a
How
young
about the
D-man,
offensive
he's
zone?
showing well.
How about the offensive zone? Because if you're a left shot playing on the left side, you're there with your stick to cut off any rims, like you've got it. Where the flip side of that is, you know, your stick's in the shooting, like in the middle of the ice if you're playing your offside. So some good and bad.
Yeah, I liked it because you know, the guys would give you, they'd know where you're at, your stick was at, and they'd kind of bounce where you get it. You could jump to the middle and shoot. Not that I was getting a ton of offensive chances, but I liked it because you're in the middle. You can shoot it way easier. You can skate forward rather than backwards. Now, if it comes up the wall, you just stop with your backhand. You can throw a hard backhand down back in the corner, right? It's not that hard to do. So yeah, like it's funny how some people are against trying it.
He's definitely a good comment here. Quad, he says he's better than Regula. No question there. For sure. He already is better with the Nurse in that pairing than Regula had been. Regula struggling to find his game, and he's going to be given more opportunity. I guess he took warm-up tonight. I think there's a good chance he'll be in tomorrow. I could see them trying to insert some fresh bodies tomorrow, Struds. It's been a long road trip, and maybe we'll see Lazar potentially back in. We will wait and see. All right, going to get to another break. Rob Brown set to join us here right away. So when we come back, Brownie Points in Struddy's world. We'll get the big guy's thoughts on the game overall. And again, ask us anything. Get your comments in. Still lots of content ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Timberhouse.
Why would you? Nobody puts in wood windows or siding anymore, so why put in wood fences? A maintenance-free vinyl fence from DLR is backed by a lifetime warranty and will save you time. Weekends are for playing, not painting. Go vinyl at DLR Vinyl Products.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
You know that music. It is time for Brownie Points, brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. Get 10 years of built-in confidence at your Alberta Ram dealer with Canada's best full-size truck limited powertrain warranty. Every new 2026 Ram truck comes with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. Check out your Ram dealer today. And we get to see his smiling face today. I love it when we have Brownie in person on the pod. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. Missed you guys. Hey, you guys look good. You look much younger live, like really. I listen to you guys on the radio a lot, and you sound old, but now that I see you, a couple of young spring chickens.
Thanks, buddy. I'll take that. I'll take the good out of that. What do you got for Brownie Points, pal?
Well, I'm going to start with -4 brownie points to the Oilers' overall defensive play in the last two games by Calvin Pickard. I thought Pickard played very well in Montreal. I thought Pickard had a pretty good game again tonight, but in both those games, the Edmonton Oilers gave up 4 goals against. And to me, that means they're giving up too many grade A scoring chances. So -4 for defensive play. I got -23 for the Oilers for going nuclear too early in the third period again. I know that my friend Jason Strudwick, he likes to see Connor and Leon on separate lines more often, and I agree with him tonight. I thought that this was a good opportunity here. It's a 1-goal game. Both lines had been generating chances. I wanted to see Quinn Hudson at the end of the second period, got moved up to play with Leon. I'm thinking coming into the third period, Connor's flying out there tonight, and then you can have a second line with Leon and Quinn Hudson. Instead, they don't do that, and the Edmonton Oilers end up losing because every time Connor and Leon, who were together, were off the ice, the Oilers really just don't generate anything. I got plus 970 brownie points to the Minnesota Wild goaltending, which in the 2 games that they've played the Oilers this year, they have stopped 61 of 63 shots for a 970 save percentage. I think Minny was the better team in this hockey game tonight, but the Oilers did have chances in the third period where they could have changed the outcome. But I thought Gustafsson was fantastic, just like the other Minny goalie, the rookie kid, was great the last time these two teams played together. I got -2 brownie points to Evan Bouchard's right hand. Both goals in the third period tonight were off the hand of Evan Bouchard. The first one, he tries catching the puck in the neutral zone. He brings the puck across the blue line and then loses control of it. Tarasenko in the back of the net. Then an unfortunate one at the end of the game. It's an empty net. He throws his right hand up in the air to block the puck. It bounces right again to Tarasenko for a 2-0 or 2-0 on an empty net. So right hand of Evan Bouchard was a problem tonight. And I got -20 for the Oilers for giving up another late goal in this game with 6 seconds to go in a period. That to me was the end of the game for the Oilers. They fought back. It's 2-2. The feeling in the intermission would have been completely different. You come back, you tie it up, you're feeling good about yourself in the first and second. Instead, you give up a late goal again. Too many of these have happened as of late for the Oilers. We've talked about it. You've talked about it a lot, Shogger. You hate them at the end of games. Well, this one came back to haunt the Edmonton Oilers because at the end of the first period, that turned out to be the game-winning goal. And just going back to the Tarasenko empty net goal to Sturm, I thought that was funny because it's a 2-0. And if you watch it, Tarasenko's doing a favor to Sturm, like, I'm going to get you an assist. I'm going to give you the puck. And he opens up for the one-timer. Sturm looked at it and shot in the empty net. And it was just watching the expression of Tarasenko. I'm doing you a favor, buddy. I'm getting you a point. And then you take away my goal. I thought that was really, really funny. So those tonight, my friends, are my brownie
That's
points.
what was happening there? That was the dynamic there for sure?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Struds?
I never thought of
Yo,
that.
you let the guy get his beak wet, right? You just let it, you just say, hey, you can touch it, give it back, and I'll tap it in. It's so funny, Brian, because I saw that. I was actually thinking about you. I'm like, he's like, why did I pass it to you, right? That's so
That's
funny.
awesome.
I'm sure they're just chirping him in the dressing room out there. Guys would be all over him, right? Like, how to take the shot. I was feeling pressure. How to take the shot, you know? If it's you know, who could it be? Like, if it's Jason Strudwick there beside you, give me the puck and I'll shoot it in for sure. But you know, it's like it's Sturm. He's a pretty decent player. Just give it back, get it back, and it's so funny.
What you're doing is what Tarasenko's doing. He's being a good teammate. He's getting you a
100%.
freebie assist. Because Tarasenko has a breakaway on an empty net. He's being a good teammate here because he was opened up. Like he passed the puck. And he's like, all right, give it back to me. And he's kind of like, are you kidding me? Like you just took away my goal. So
funny.
It's funny. And I guarantee you, Tarasenko would probably have a goals bonus in his contract. He's a goal scorer. Usually you get a bit of a bonus in there. So I just thought it was so funny. I agree with you, Struts. In after the game, because they won, there will be some chirping. I can't believe you shot that puck.
Absolutely. Okay, Brownie, let's have a conversation here. Quinn Hughes, obviously he's a great player. He looks really good.
Yes.
I felt as I was watching this game tonight that the Oilers looked bigger, especially against their D. Now, I know they have Middleton. I recognize Zach Bogosian isn't playing, but Spurgeon's a smallish guy. Faber, not a big guy. Quinn Hughes, awesome player, not a big guy. Is their D big enough to compete? Don't even think about the Pacific. Let's just talk about Colorado and then Dallas.
Yeah, I do. I think they're big enough simply because they get themselves out of trouble. I mean, you rarely see Quinn Hughes hit. I mean, he did get hit tonight by McDavid and Hyman. It doesn't happen. That Faber, oh my goodness, that Faber is a fantastic young defenseman.
Yeah.
Middleton is big. Bogosian, when he gets back in there, is big. Big number 55 they got from Columbus, he's big. Brodin, he's got size. He's not a physical player, but he's a big guy too. So yeah, I think they are. I still believe that you've said it a number of times. I think they are a number 2 centerman short right now. I think they've got to improve it in the middle. And I don't know if they're still as good as Colorado, but I do believe they're in the mix. The difference between them and almost every team in the NHL, they got 2 fantastic goaltenders. Like both goalies they got are great. Where the Oilers are trying to find a goaltender and hoping that Jari is the one, they've got 2 options come playoffs because both of them are that good.
What are you expecting from Connor Ingram, Brownie? Like, what's realistic, do you think?
Well, you had Calvin Pickard play tonight, and I thought played well and gave up 4 goals. If the Oilers give up that many opportunities, grade A scoring chances, I think the best Ingram could do is 4 against. I mean, you're asking a guy who I haven't seen him play, but his stats show, and the AHL is different. And everyone's talking when he gets up, the NHL will be different. But all of the best goaltenders that are coming up in the minors, like Justin Wall down in, or Wolf, Dustin Wolf, and all that, they were great in the minors. So it's not like, okay, you're bad in the minors, you're going to be better in the NHL. The goaltenders that come up and excel at the NHL were really good in the minors first. So they're going to have to play much better defensively in front of Ingram than they did in front of Pickard and hit Pickard's last 2 starts. Because you want Ingram to be an option at some point in the season. You don't want him to completely lose all confidence because you played poor defensively in front of him before he's found his game.
Again, a little bit of the saving grace. No Eichel, no Theodore. I think Carlson's even maybe somewhat in doubt. And the Oilers are getting Carter Hart, the Vegas backup, tomorrow night. That was Brownie Points, brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. Going to get to our core adjustments here. Push forward a little bit. Brought to you by HSE Core Services. From creating and managing safety programs to audits and those required contractor registries, HSE Core keeps your business compliant so you can keep working. Visit www.hsecor.com for more information. So you talked about Quinn Hudson getting a little bit of a bump up the lineup there. I said last game you can take all of Mangiapane's minutes and hand them to Hudson. As far as I'm concerned, they took half of his minutes and gave them to Hudson. Both of them were in the 9-minute range, give or take. Struds, would you like to see some adjustments to the lines tomorrow? I mean, the top 6 has been pretty consistent here, but do you think there's reason to see a little bit more? Like they had Frederick up there today, that didn't last. But what do you want to see out of a top 6 tomorrow?
Well, the top 6 is really good, right? With those two, the 2 big guys, Podkolzin, Hyman, and Nuge. It's great, and then you can put whoever you want beside Leon. They figured out. The problem is the bottom 6, and Brownie said it the best way in English possible: is that there's not a big difference between the 2 centermen on the 3rd and 4th line, so it doesn't go a lot. So it looked to me like they were trying to put Savoy down there, maybe to get something going. Right, to have a little more juice, a little more speed on that line. So, but there's not a ton there just yet. So, I mean, I guess short of moving 2 guys down, like do you move both Savoy and Podkolzin down, and so Quinn Hudson with Trent Frederick up there, or Mangiapane, and to try to get more going. Right, they're trying to spread it out, is what they're trying to do, in my opinion, Brownie.
They are until they aren't. Because as soon as it doesn't go well, then right away they go to nuclear in the 3rd period. So they're not trying to spread it out anymore. I think that Roslovic will be back tomorrow. And if he is, he goes beside Leon. And then all of a sudden you've got a 3rd line that'll have Savoy playing with Henrique. And my guess would be Mangiapane. I think he was much more noticeable tonight than Frederick again. And it's funny, the one guy that's going to come out of the lineup will be Max Jones. And he played well. Like that's back-to-back games where you saw the physicality out of him. And he's going to come out of the lineup if Roslovic is back in the lineup. So tomorrow they'll go back. I believe it'll be Connor will be with his line. Leon will be with Roslovic and Podkolzin. Henrique will play with Mangiapane and Savoy. And then your 4th line will be Janmark with Quinn Hudson and Trent Frederick, which just doesn't really allow Quinn Hudson to show what he's capable of. He's a guy that's going to make plays. Trent Frederick and Janmark aren't. So to me, it's almost a waste of skill, because unless Hudson double shifts with a shift with Connor or Leon at some point, you really don't get to see what he's capable of. Because again, tonight he only played 7-8 minutes in this hockey game. And that was at getting that one shift at the end of the period with Leon. And I was hoping that would be the line for the 3rd period, but it did not work out that way.
Any chance with Nuge back that they bounce him down to the 3rd center position? If Roslovic is back in, that gives you an option in the top 6. You can bounce Nuge and Hopkins down. The other thing you could do is you could go with Hudson up there just for a game. Give it a go. Vegas isn't going to be that deep down the middle. Just give it a go. So go Nuge at 3C, Roslovic back in, and Hudson up, maybe either with McDavid or with Draisaitl. I mean, he's here.
But the thing is, what are the Oilers? 8-2-1 in their last 11. I mean, why would you
Yeah.
mess? And Connor McDavid's on an absolute heater. Why would you mess with Connor's line? So, I mean, I understand
Well, that
giving
might be
Hudson
the reason,
another
'cause
look,
he is
but
on a heater.
Connor McDavid is playing the best he's played. So why would you mess with his line right now?
Struds?
Well, and maybe that is why you do it, because he is on a heater, right? You could put 2 garbage cans with him and he'd still find a way to score. So, yeah, I mean, it just guys, we can talk from the top down or the bottom up. It always comes back to the third line. Like, that's where it all is, because if you get that set, people get pushed down to the fourth line. And I do think Kapanen can make a difference there, because he's big and fast and skates and gets in on that forecheck, and that adds a little zip to Henrique's game. I don't know. I just don't see him changing lines that much, Shogger, to be honest with you. The team is playing well and they will be at home. So I don't envision a lot of change, assuming Larosovic's in the top 6.
Yeah. And I understand completely what you're saying. I probably agree with you, but I can't help but feel that, to your point, Struds, the coaching staff doesn't feel that void after line 2. Like, oh, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not there. There's just nothing there. And so to move Nuge in there, replace, give somebody else a look. I don't think they will, but you've been harping on this third line thing for a while, Struds, and I think it makes some sense. But they're going pretty well, so maybe they don't shake things up. Zuby, I'm going to shake things up. I'm going to throw you a little curveball. There were some trades in the NHL that we want to talk about, and I want Brownie's opinion on them too. So we're going to keep Brownie here for our Take on a Lap segment. That's brought to you by Riverside Motorsports. Family owned and operated, serving Edmonton and area for over 55 years, featuring top brands and delivering the best selection in Alberta. A massive inventory of parts and accessories, and recognized as the #1 KTM dealership in the country. Check them out at www.riversidemotorsports.com. Struds?
Yeah, the trade freeze was last night, and a couple of deals got done at the last second. The LA Kings sent a guy with no goals and 5 assists back to the Canadians in Phil Deneau for a second-round pick. Montreal feels that this is a better player than he's shown, and probably is. He's decently skilled, but he's got 2 years left here, this year and another year. So they get some center depth help there in Montreal, Brownie.
Well, I think the Montreal Canadiens are a better team today because of Philip Deneau. I think his stats will improve in Montreal, and what you get is you get a defensive conscious. Like we've watched him the last couple of years in the playoffs. He does a good job. I like him as a player. So I think Montreal gets better, and they're desperate for center help with the injuries they've had. And in all honesty, I think the LA Kings, unless they use that $5 million that they gave up to go get someone else, they're not as good. They're just not as deep at the center position without Philip Deneau. Philip Deneau is a pest. So I don't think the LA Kings today, right now, are as good a team as they were 48 hours ago.
Just a stunning drop-off. I mean, this guy had 27 goals in 21-22. 54 points a couple of seasons ago. Even 43 points last year. He's got 5 points in 30 games, and he's only playing a minute 20 less per game than he was last year. Like, that's a stunning drop-off. It's not like he's 36 years old.
Yeah, what's crazy? Go ahead. Go ahead, Brandon.
Go ahead, Fred. No, you go.
Well, I was just going to say the thing that was really crazy is that last year they had obviously Kopitar, Byfield, and Deneau. At the end of next year, Kopitar is retiring, so they'll have one of their top 3 centers going into the offseason. One. And you don't replace Kopitar. I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen. Byfield, I've been so bullish on this guy, not quite put there yet this year, and now Deneau's gone. That's a lot of work for Ken Holland. Now you'll have, what is that, $15 million? Because what is Kopitar's close to? He's close to 10, maybe somewhere around there, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But you don't replace Kopitar. Sorry, guys.
No, Kopitar is Barkov West. He's the best two-way player and had been for a number of years out west. But from what I've read is Hiller was not a fan. The coach at LA was not a fan of Philip Deneau, and he wasn't getting the love that he had gotten before from the coaching staff. To me, I think the LA Kings have made 2 big mistakes: getting rid of Rob Blake and not getting rid of Jim Hiller. I do not find him to be a good coach. I think he's the reason that the LA Kings, one of the big reasons the LA Kings lost to Edmonton last year. So, but to Struds' point, you're right, Struds. That's 2/3 of your centermen are gone. They're not easy to find. I know that you got more money, still not easy to find to go out and get into free agents.
Veteran centerman. Like it's not easy.
Yeah.
Okay, and Marchment goes. Well, he was traded from Dallas to Seattle, and then Seattle now to Columbus. They get a little life there. He goes from a team with very little life in Seattle to a team in Columbus who's trying to fight for it. So second and fourth round they get back. So they traded a fourth and a third for him. They one-upped it. So I guess whatever that cost them for Marchment's half-year salary.
What I don't understand about that trade, guys, is to me, the Seattle Kraken don't have enough sandpaper in their lineup. And I think that's one of the reasons the Oilers have so much success against Seattle is they're a perimeter team that's not in your face, and the Oilers dominate them because there's nobody that really does what Marchment came in to do. And the fact that you got rid of that sandpaper guy not even halfway through the season was shocking to me. He is what Seattle Kraken are missing. And then you get rid of the only one that really has that kind of game. So I was shocked by that trade. It just, why you felt you needed that kind of player, and then you get rid of him 30-some games into the season. It makes no sense to me.
Doesn't this feel a little bit like a flip coming, though? Because there's no retention in this deal. So if you think about what his value is with no retention, then you burn a month or two off of his season and off of his salary, and then you're willing to eat half and then trade him. I mean, can they increase their return here, Struds? Like, doesn't it feel like it's just going to be a flip and they'll retain salary and get more for him?
Yeah, because Columbus is at the bottom too, right? I mean, Columbus, they've never really been on top. I saw someone tweet, I can't remember what it said, two teams near the bottom should have traded two equal players with retention to each other. And then what they could have done, because that was the last day you could do it, I think, because you can't do two.
Frank Saravalli,
Yeah, you can't you can't do it twice, right? Like I can't on the same day trade Brownie to Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh to Boston. So it made a lot of sense. And I love that idea. And this might have been an opportunity. Maybe Columbus had a player. I'd have to look through the roster. The double flip. And then your value goes up a ton because now, I think Marchman's at 5. So he's at 2.5. Then you cut that down to 1.5. My God.
Yeah.
Big bucks.
Yeah, that'll change things at the trade deadline for sure. The fact that you can't do that double retention anymore. Yeah. But I can't help but wonder if Columbus isn't just willing to flip this player and retain. And then, if Marchment at half price, I think somebody would be willing to pay a little bit more for him. And you never know. Maybe a change of scenery, like maybe he really gets going or has some success there. And then that value pumps up a little bit. Okay, that was our Taking a Lap segment. Couple of trades in the National Hockey League, courtesy Riverside Motorsports. When we come back, we're going to take a quick break here. We'll get to our scoreboard. We'll do Struddy's World. And then, Brownie, you okay hanging around for Ask Us today? Let the people throw some stuff at you for once. Perfect. We got a little extra Rob Brown time today here on Got Your Back. Lots still ahead. Stay with us.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit BelvedereGCC.com today.
Choosing to buy a home is one of the biggest financial and personal decisions you'll ever make. It's a decision that requires strategic planning, market expertise, and a trusted advisor to guide the way. The team at Body Realty with Royal LePage AR team combines deep market knowledge, forward-thinking guidance, and exceptional dedication to make the process effortless and stress-free. Where every client is treated like the only client, visit BaddyRealty.com, a real estate group like no other.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. God, I look good.
It is time for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products, Alberta's #1 vinyl product supplier. They offer top quality materials to build a fence or deck that won't rot, fade, or fall apart. If you need a skilled contractor to take care of the job or prefer a DIY approach, DLR can help set you up with all that you need. Canadian owned and operated, locations in Calgary and in Edmonton. Visit them today online. DLRvinylproducts.ca is the website. Big man.
Seattle Kraken need an overhaul. I know they're a new team, recently new, but this team is, and Brownie, I'm not just going to put words in your mouth, but basically they're vanilla. There's not a lot going on there. They got 1 win and 9 losses the last 10. When I watch them, I don't know what they are. I think they have some good players, not a lot of, I wouldn't say any great superstars, but a lot of good players, including their captain, Jordan Eberle. He's been a good player for a long time. At this point, he's not, elite. And one time he was, he's not today. So I look through their cap situation. Schwartz, 1 year left. He's hurt right now. I'm moving him. Jared McCann, 2 years left, can score. I'm moving him. He's on IR. That's the problem. Jordan Eberle, he's got 1 year left. I know he's your captain, but you got to flip it over. Eli Tolvanen, same thing. If you can't, flip him over. Flip these guys over. On the back end, you've got Jamie Alexiak, 4.6 last year of a deal. Big guy, big D-man, flip him over. They already have 2 first-round picks each of the next 2 years, 3 second-rounders next year. Listen, I don't like teams having to go through a rebuild, but you're not really rebuilding anything. You're really not anywhere right now. You have no identity. I don't know how you want to play. You're not hard to play against, as Brownie said. You don't have a lot of high-end talent. You're not a real hard defensive team to play against. I don't know what you are. Reset, move those players out, and they'll be coveted. I think a lot of those players will be coveted, guys, throughout the league.
Holy smokes, how do you reset? They just got going. They never got anywhere. I don't disagree with you, Struds, but how bad is it? You're a new franchise. You're supposed to be starting from scratch, have a plan, build it up. And now how many years in, they're like, we need to tear this thing down. What are you talking about? Nobody even moved in yet. It's so bad that they might have to consider that. You're not wrong, Struds, but holy smokes, is that a bad look? They're brand new.
I agree. It is. And vanilla, that's a great wave. I was trying to say it without saying it. I didn't know what word to use. But yeah, vanilla is the one. They're just not hard to play against. And I mean, to me, some of the signings they made, going out and getting Chandler Stevenson and giving him big money. Like Chandler Stevenson was a nice complimentary player when he was in Vegas. He's not someone that you bring in with big money and build around. So yeah, I would.
Desperate move.
More or less put the white flag up, said, okay, we made a mistake. We made a bunch of mistakes, and we are going to build now, because I don't think they did a good job to start with. And they're on the, they should be building upwards now. Like this, they're at that point in their, okay, we started as a new franchise. We built here. We're slowly getting to where we want to be. They're not. They're going the opposite direction. They may have already had their best year as a new franchise. So yes, Struds, I agree. Everyone you can move, because what you have right now ain't getting it done.
And they're not coming back here. And your point about being hard to play against, Brownie, you can be hard to play against in a lot of different ways. You can be big and tough. You can be wildly offensive, but just a gong show in your own zone. You can be lock it down in your own zone and hope to score 1 goal and win the game. But they're none of those things. When I watch them play, I have no idea what they are. What are you trying to do? Is that on the GM? Is it on the coach? Is it on the players? Probably the first two more than anything. But, maybe the GM. I just don't know what they are or are supposed to be.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. They are a vanilla team that has no identity. And that's not a good thing in today's National Hockey League. That usually spells 27th to 32nd in the NHL.
One of the other concerning things for me too with them, like Matty Beniers came in, and at a young age, he was good. 57 points in his, first full season, 24 goals he had. And he really hasn't looked like that kind of star player since then. He's been trending down, Struds, and this was supposed to be this young, energetic player that was the offensive
spark plug, the backbone offensively of this group, and it's just gone the wrong way for him.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I was a big fan when he first came in. Who is he? He has a veteran in Jordan Eberle beside him who's really smart, a really good player. If Jordan Eberle's 26 or 27, I wonder how that changes where Beniers is with his points. Then you have Capo Caco on the other side sometimes and others, but even other guys, like who is Capo Caco really the guy that's going to help this player? Beniers is a young player. He's not an elite player like Celebrini, but he's a really good player. But I think he needs help, Brownie, offensively.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, and he takes abuse. Like, watch when the Oilers play against the Kraken. Leon Draisaitl absolutely abuses Matty Beniers. Every shift, every face-off, he cross-checks him hard. And there's no one on the Kraken that do anything. That's the problem, is this young player who is trying to find his way, try to lead this team offensively, getting abused, and no one's doing anything for him. So, yeah, this is I think it's a failed experiment. The Seattle Kraken are a failed experiment, and I think they have to, as Strud says, start completely all over. But Schrager, you're absolutely right. This Matty Beniers is nowhere where he was 2 years ago.
Yeah. All right, that was Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Zuby, hop on in here, my friend. Let's wrap up that DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. Which way did it end up going? We were asking about Spencer Stastny and how you feel about him here in the early going.
Yeah, just give me 1 second here. I forgot. I was cutting Brownie out. I didn't have that shot ready. Let's see if we can get him back.
That's okay. I threw you some curveballs here, so
sure,
you take your time.
We're good.
Nice job.
Yeah. So the question was, how are you feeling about what you've seen from Spencer Stastny so far? And this trickled down. The answer that won had a huge lead, and it trickled down as it went. Optimistic about the early returns, did come in first place at 54%. Great, playing as well as Kulak did, 23%. I'll judge him in the playoffs, 14%. And some holes in his game, only 9%, nearly 200 votes on the poll. And that was some holes in his game, notably, was at 0 for a long time. So big picture seems like people are liking what they see from the Oilers' young new acquisition.
Where are you at on that, Brownie?
I would take two of those answers. I think I'm optimistic from the early returns, but really, we'll wait till playoff time to see what he can do. We knew what Kulak could do in the playoffs. That's where you're going to be really judged.
Well, and part of the question becomes, how much good quality work can he get done between now and the trade deadline? And can he get enough quality work done, Struds, where the Oilers are going, okay, maybe they only need to go get a 5 or a 6 rather than looking for a 4. You know what I mean? If he can give them some confidence, maybe they don't have to spend as much shoring up the blue line. I don't know. I doubt it, but that's what I'm wondering about, because they were looking for a forward before.
Yeah, the problem with Oilers fans is that they're like my kids. I give them $10 to go to Max or to 7-Eleven, and they try to maximize, and they realize they can't get 5 Slurpees for their buddies and all these chips and stuff. You have to pick and choose who you're going to get. So I think they'll, this goalie situation to me is number one. They have to figure that out. Number 2 is, how does the D-man play? The number 3 is the forward. Where at the beginning of the year, I wanted number 1 to be the forward, nothing to be the goalie, and then a D-man, I don't think you needed it either. So this is a real challenge. So yes, you're 100% right. If he plays well, if he doesn't, I think it affects it. But if they need to go get another goalie, they got to move money out on top of it. So that's another guy.
Well, sorry, Strud. What this goes on is you have a plan. It's like Mike Tyson, you have a plan until you get punched in the face. Well, the Oilers had a plan this year, and their third line was going to be Trent Frederick being their third line centerman. It hasn't worked out. Then they had a plan in net where Skinner and Pickard were good enough. Didn't work out. Then they had a plan that Tristan Jarry's now their guy. Well, now he's injured. So all of a sudden you have all of these plans, and now you don't know which way they're going. So I think, as you said, Struds, the health of Tristan Jarry will dictate what they do next. If this is something that's going to plague him, do you have to make another goaltending move? And if you do that, that takes up capital and cap space. So Their shopping list,
Oh, boy.
as Struds' kids are, their shopping list is a little bit longer.
Gonna get to Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies. Founded in 1976, BJ Electric is a full-line distributor providing quality wholesale electrical products for use in industrial, commercial, and residential settings. Proudly owned and operated in Edmonton. Visit bjelectric.ca. Okay, we love Davin on this show. Long-time listener, long-time live streamer, but I'm about to rip into him a little bit.
Whoa.
Davin chimes in and says,
wow.
man, Kulak had such a bad start this season. So many dumb mistakes. We're lucky we moved on from him. Davin, that is so short-sighted, man. So short-sighted. You know who else had a pretty crappy start to the year? Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Evan Bouchard, Matthias Ekholm. All these players came back and were a shadow of themselves. All Brett Kulak ever did was play his best hockey of the season in the playoffs. Couldn't disagree with you more, Davin. Normally I'm right on side with you. Definitely not on that one. That's easy to say now. Come playoff time, they're going to miss this guy. Anybody? Takers?
I agree with you, Strauger, 100%.
All right, Zuby. We love Davin, by the way.
We
love
do.
Davin.
Okay, JL, among others, calling this game tomorrow night the scheduled loss. Scheduled loss tomorrow, coming off the long road trip. Travel day back. Vegas has a late game in Calgary tonight, obviously, as well. But how do you guys feel? What's your feeling? What's your sense of going into this game tomorrow, Struddy?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the Oilers should be home before that game even starts. So, I think they're going to be somewhat rested. Yeah, schedule loss, but I didn't mind playing the second back-to-back. No, I didn't play 25 minutes tonight, so I guess that maybe explains why. But, I didn't mind that at all. Vegas, their D isn't producing a ton of offense. Chagar's gone through some of the injuries they're already feeling. The Oilers game should be very mature tomorrow. I'd like to see a redo of what they did in Boston. We're not going to burn ourselves, right? Vegas is going to want to kind of counterpunch. Let them be patient. You're both patient, and then strike when you get a chance, because your top guys are really firing right now, Brownie.
I agree. The only question mark for the Oilers tomorrow will be in net with Connor Ingram, what you're going to get from him. But Vegas is coming in beat up. They got possibly no Carlson. They certainly have no Eichel or Theodore. Those are some pretty good hockey players that are out of Vegas's lineup. So, no, I don't believe it's a schedule loss. The Oilers got to play better than they have in a couple of the games defensively, but I like what the Oilers can do tomorrow night against a beat-up Vegas team.
Gong Show says, I thought this was an interesting statement. Max Jones does a way better job at what Frederick was supposed to be brought in to this team to do. There's a number of people, I'm sure you're not surprised, arguing that Trent Frederick maybe should be taking a seat. Apple iPhone 17 says Lazar in for Frederick. That's all we need. You guys discussed about, largely this team has a very good record in the last 10 games. But with the travel and the back-to-backs and 3 and 4 nights, do you anticipate any lineup changes tomorrow? And if so, what would that be, Brownie?
Well, I guess it all depends on who's healthy. If Lazar's healthy, I'd have him in the lineup. If Roslovic's healthy, absolutely, he's in the lineup. Has Max Jones outplayed Frederick? Yeah, probably. Max Jones, though, has not done it on a consistent basis at this level. That's why he's in the minors. And they've got a bigger investment in Trent Frederick. So Struds, I can't see Frederick being healthy scratch. I can't. And actually, he hasn't played poorly. He's just not as noticeable as a Max Jones. So I don't see Frederick coming out of the lineup anytime soon. I would have Lazar and Roslovic in if they're healthy.
Yeah, so if they both come in, who comes out? Because I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Obviously, Max Jones is one.
Yeah.
And then is it Quinn Hudson out?
Probably.
So, and then he probably goes down. And unfortunately, that's the life of a guy who's trying to get up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And make it up. But I think if that is the case and he does get sent down, and I'm guessing he may be sent down, although is there a rule you can't send him down before Christmas? Or I'm not sure how that works, actually, Shagar. You must be able to, right?
No, I don't know if recalls from the minors are part of the roster.
Okay.
I don't think that's the case if you've got, because you got to be able to maneuver around your cap.
Yeah.
By the way, Roslovic coming back in is tough because there's some cap implications. I don't know exactly what they are. I can text Hart Levine later, but I don't think it's going to be necessarily simple to just drop everybody back onto the roster. So they might be dealing with a little bit of that for tomorrow. But the point is taken on Frederick for sure, Zoobs.
Okay. Penner's Pancakes wants to know, we've talked about this so much, but he wants you to kind of lay it on the line. How and who do the Oilers put to have a defined, legit third line? His opinion, Henrique rather, is a 4C at this stage of his career. Sorry, Struddy. So let's just say everybody healthy with what we've seen and know of the players on this team to this point. Who is if you're handpicking the third line, who is yours, Struds?
I'd probably put McDavid there.
Yeah, good.
Well, they've got two other really good centers, so it makes sense.
Yeah. You know what? I'd put Roslovic on first line and then McDavid at the third line. You know what? God, I feel like all I talk about is the third line. I sound like, I know I am. I'm becoming Shogger from last year talking about hitting the way I'm talking about the third line. That's all I'm doing. All I do is talk about this third line. Okay. I've said it. I'm going to stand by it. I want Nuge, Roslovic, and Frederick on the third line. There, I said it. It's out there. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Well, who's on your first line? You just took two top six guys away in Nuge and Roslovic.
Well, yes. So I keep Leon's line the same. And then Connor, that's TBD. I haven't quite got that far. But if you ask me my dream third line, that's what I want. That's what I want for a third line. That's a legit third line. There's something going there. There's some heaviness. There's speed, skill, some scoring. That's the kind of third line I think the Oilers need, right? And right now they're not quite there. And Henrique, I agree, Penner. Pancakes. He's a fourth line center, and I think that's where he's at right now.
I mean, that's fantastic. The Oilers now have a legitimate third line. Unfortunately, Cotter's just playing 4 against 5 when he's on the ice for the rest of the season. So we fixed one problem, but now we got a bigger one.
Yes,
we're handicapping McDavid.
Yeah, well, he is a special player. So, but I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's my dream line. There it is. You're welcome.
That was the question you were asked. You were asked that question. So, yeah.
When this team is healthy, I think there's a good chance it'll be Nugent Hopkins. I think when everyone's healthy, I think there's a good chance it'll be Nugent Hopkins, but let's wait and see.
Do you want to give yours, Brownie, or are you good with Struddy having to
swing in the breeze?
I mean,
1993-22 for me. 1993-22 for me.
And who's the center?
93.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a very heavy line.
You see goals in moving off of Leon's line. You're the one that was having. Did you say 92?
93.
No, 93. 1993 and 22.
So he's taking two centers, put them on the same line. That's right up there with my idea of putting Connor on the third line.
Okay, a couple of questions here kind of going in the same place. Ro Nelson wanted to know, does Knobloch choose the defense or Stewart? This is towards the end of the comment, referring to Emerson and Stillman being out there for that final minute. And Reverend Hans Gruber over on the Discord, after that goal was scored, wanted to know who would you put on the ice in the last minute of periods and game to try to ensure the goalie's not left high and dry. Seriously, this seems to be a thing on this team. So I guess sort of the question is, if maybe Shogger, well, you guys can chime in on whose decision ultimately it is for those guys to be out there. And if you were the coach, would you have a set of, these are my guys I know I go to, protecting a lead with a minute left, or are you switching it game by game? Brownie, you can go.
Well, it depends on the situation. At the end of the hockey game, when it's over, you're putting your third pairing and your fourth line out there, and you're telling them to get the job done. You're not trying to save the goalie's stats by having your best players out there. At the end of periods, though, you should have your top four, someone in your top four out there. Like at the end of the first period, the Oilers today, they come back. They're down 2. They come back. That was an important goal that the Minnesota Wild scored. I don't believe the third pairing should be on the ice. Last minutes of periods in games that are close. At the end of the game, it doesn't matter who you put out there if the game is over. It does not matter. It sucks that you give up a goal to your goalie, but who cares? But at the end of periods, when the game is in the balance, to me, you have to have a top 4 defense pairing out there, either your first pairing or your second pairing, because that to me changed the whole game tonight when the Minnesota Wild scored there.
Yeah, we said the same thing earlier, and it's just about just managing the game. So whose decision is that? Usually what happens is the D coach and the head coach talk about situations. Okay, in this situations, who would you play? This is, and he's like, I have heard a coach come down and said, don't put Strudwick out there no matter what. You're like, whoa, so I can hear you. Why don't you just text them? But, mostly it's situational that time.
I think during the flow of play, like the D coach, Stewart would be the one rolling his guys during the flow of play. Knobloch's managing the forwards. If there's a whistle and there's 57 seconds left, maybe there's an opportunity for the head coach or whatever. Or, but often you'll see Knobloch walk down the bench during play and say something to Stewart as well. So I think it's Stewart's responsibility, but essentially if the wrong people are on the ice, it is the head coach's responsibility to make sure that whatever needs to be communicated is communicated. So I would say it's a little bit of a shared responsibility there. Zuby, couple more, then we'll get Brownie out of here.
Okay. Quaddy with just a statement. Leon is a bit snake bitten scoring goals. We talked about Leon obviously earlier. 6 games, or if it's now 7, I don't know, after tonight without a goal. Brownie, you can go on this first, but we talked about Leon, but what are you seeing from him right now as far as his goal scoring or lack thereof?
I think snake bitten. I think some big saves by the goaltenders. There have been a few that, he's even looked up after. He's like, I can't believe that didn't go in. To me, I don't see a whole lot wrong with his game. Just sometimes the puck finds the back of the net. Sometimes it doesn't. He could score tomorrow and go on where he goes 9 goals in 6 games. So to me, it's just not through lack of chances. I think Leon, and that's the biggest thing. I think Leon is getting the chances. And they're just not finding the back of the net, Struds.
Yeah, I'd probably put him at third line center, right? Just to give him some easier competition.
You're a donkey.
Put him with Trent Frederick and who did I say? Ralstovic. No, just kidding. Listen, the last guy I'm worried about scoring on this team is Leon Draisaitl. I like, it's just, if he wasn't shooting or it looked like he wasn't skating well, those are different things. I sometimes Brownie just said it doesn't always go in. So, he could have 5 goals tomorrow. Be like, yep, there, he's back.
Okay, last one, Apple iPhone 17. This guy needs to get a name. Get another name so we stop giving out all this free advertising that they don't need. What did the group feel about the Jake Paul versus Joshua fight last night? Who watched it and who has an opinion? Struddy?
Oh, I watched it. Listen, you know what? Jake Paul, a lot of people are chirping this guy. I'll say this. He went in there with an absolute monster. That Joshua might have the perfect body. I actually have his poster on my wall. My wife's like, what the hell is that doing? I'm like, this guy is perfect. He's built by gods. Like, he's incredible. And Jake ran around for a while. I would have run around for even longer. I would have been doing laps around that thing. He got hit by that right hand, and I'm surprised his head didn't roll all the way off into the ocean out there in Florida. So I'll give him credit. A lot of people are like, oh, he's an idiot. Yeah, he might be for getting in the ring, but I don't think you'd be hard pressed to find 1 out of 10,000 males that would get in that ring with that absolute animal.
For $100 million?
For $80 million? For $80 million?
For $80 million?
Put the money aside. Just getting in there. Would you guys get in there?
No. Oh God, no. God, no.
It's funny though.
$80 million, I would.
Yeah. I don't follow boxing. I don't. But when they announced this card, my brother, who knows sports quite well, he said Paul might get hurt. He goes, this guy is big, he is mean, and he's a real fighter. He goes, Paul is going
Olympic gold medal.
Yeah. So it was a legitimate boxer that, he broke his jaw in 2 different places. So I give credit for Paul doing that. Paul's become very rich boxing, so he's done all right for himself, broken jaw or not.
Yeah, he was rich before. I'll leave people can give credit to him if they want, whatever. I've been with a raised eyebrow watching Jake Paul's antics for a long time. I loved seeing him get his head absolutely snapped sideways. I saw the highlight and I was just like, oh, that is just so satisfying. I loved seeing it. Absolutely loved seeing it.
I've watched the show on him. He actually changed my opinion of him. Honestly, I give the guy credit. I will say this though. I would think I'd be in a little bit better shape. I didn't think he was in that great a shape, but maybe he's just trying to
So
put the weight
you
on.
watched the show on Netflix that Jake
Yeah.
Paul produced about Jake Paul, and it changed your
Yeah.
opinion of him?
It did.
Amazing. Wow. That's amazing.
'cause I
He produced a documentary about himself that has left you feeling
I didn't know anything
You
about
like
the
him more.
guy. I don't look at the.
you
at
probably
these-
still don't.
No, I don't. I don't do any of that. You're right, 100%. But I don't know. I respect a human who gets in a ring with an absolute animal, and who's still in his prime. This isn't Mike Tyson. Like I might get in there with Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Probably
Oh,
not.
I
actually.
would love to see that.
Probably not. Probably
Let's
not. I
make
take
that
that.
All
back.
right. we're running
Struddy,
long.
he was a little bit because of the weight difference. I think
I know.
he came in a little softer and a little bit heavier. And I give him a ton of credit too. And
He lost weight. He lost weight from Tyson, and he's still
Oh,
like.
really?
I think I would just be like. I would look like a Kenyan marathoner. I'd just be running around that thing, 80 pounds. You're never gonna catch me. And you could tell when he got tired, he was dead. Like his face was.
They agreed
so
on
red.
a bigger ring. They agreed
I
on
know.
a bigger ring so we
I
could
would've
run around like that.
I would have played. Let's do it at NFL Stadium, and you got to catch me. I'm just running. I would be running for hours. You wouldn't.
The
even
Dr.
see me.
Carpy says, I'm with you, Shoggy. I watched the bomb get dropped like 60 plus times. It's unhealthy, says the Dr. Carpy. Yes,
Yeah.
I watched that a bunch today, too. All right, we're over time. Brownie, get going, buddy. We'll chat with
See
you
you, buddy.
tomorrow after the Vegas game. See you, pal.
All right, see you guys.
Bye, Brownie.
All right, that was
Thanks,
Ask
buddy.
Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric. Let's get to our scoreboard. And that is brought to you by the Bridge Fit. If you've been putting off treatments, it's a great time to book. Try and squeeze in before the end of 2026 if you can. They got locations in Edmonton, Sherwood Park, Lethbridge, and soon to be in St. Albert as well, providing accessible team-based care across Alberta. Learn more at thebridge.fit. Early day today, Strud, so lots of action still to come, but a few results to dig into and some news on JT Miller.
Yeah, so let's just start with the Senders. 6-4 over the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks without their leader, Bedard, only had 24 shots. I think last game they had 15. Offense is not easy, although they got 4 tonight on the Senders, which isn't ideal. Former Oiler David Prawn got a couple of goals, so he's happy about that. The Red Wings beat the Capitals 5-2. John Leonard gets his first NHL goal, I believe, so that's pretty exciting for him. In that moment, Dylan Larkin got his 18th into an empty netter. Those are the best ones to try to score. The Toronto Maple Leafs have changed their power play. They're sitting Max Domi, and halfway through the first, they're up 1-0. This feels like a pretty important stretch of games for the Maple Leafs, who are taking heat internally and externally, and any other earlies you want to think about. And
Is
finally,
it Ruby, buddy? Sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
do you feel like it's fait accompli here if it doesn't turn around quick?
that feels like the easy out, right? That feels like the easy change. Now, who's the coach? Like, if you're Pete DeBoer, are you taking that job? I'm not, because I don't think that team's poised to win anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the pressure's ratcheting up. I think Brad Treliving will resist. I think he'll try hard to resist that, but the pressure is like nowhere else. So, and if the team continues to not respond, then all of a sudden you leave your GM kind of no choice.
And finally, the Flyers and the Rangers had a matinee game. Man, I love those matinee games in MSG. They won 5-4 in a shootout. But the big news coming out of this one, the Rangers did. The big news, JT Miller was hit very hard in mid-ice. And another Flyer fell on him, but I don't think it was the secondary. It was the first hit. And he left the game with upper body injuries. At the time, right now, at supper time on Saturday, they don't know the extent of the injury yet, but he went off very slowly. Just to me, looks like a shoulder. To me, I don't know, but that's the type of reaction you have usually when that's a shoulder issue.
Olympic implications potentially there? Potentially?
We're not that far away, man. They're naming their team. I think US is doing it January 1st or 2nd, I think, if I remember correctly.
Right after Canada, I think. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, that was our scoreboard. Time to wrap up the show. We'll do that with our play of the day, and that's brought to you by Modern Measure. Looking forward to picking up my brand new suit this week. Holiday shopping doesn't have to be hard. Give the gift of looking great with a modern measure gift card in Edmonton's Ice District. They are the leaders in made-to-measure style, from tuxedos to custom denim. Buy a gift card now, get a bonus 10% extra. Committed to providing you with a 5-star experience and a personal touch. Visit mdrnmeasure.com. Zuby, do we have the Christmas video? Is this our play of the day? Did you get it digitized and ready to show? I think you're muted there, big guy.
I did. This is
oh boy,
outside Casa de Sabunia. And we're lit here. We are officially lit.
That is
the blow up
lot.
dolls. The Gobi lights.
Griswolds.
Every year I say I'm going to go full Griswold this year. I get closer every year. I still think there's still room for lights on the roof, I think.
What time do you shut this down?
It's
Like, when is it lights off?
It's on a timer, goes off at 11.
Yeah, that's aggressive. That's aggressive.
This is like
11's
Christmas
aggressive.
porn for me. I love it. I think this looks amazing. You just nailed it. You nailed everything about it, Zoops.
Oh, thanks, pal. Yeah, I love it. It's fun to have in our neighborhood. We're right across the street from my kids' school, so lots of the kids always like to check it out, and lots of mums with a baby or whatever dropping their kids off. They come by after. Lots of people, lots of guests always, so that's a lot of fun.
You're lucky to have
says
support
the
of
grid
life.
is. Yeah. Quaddy is worried about the power bill. Says the grid is going to go down. Mars Boy says you could see that from space. Wow, impressive. Says Matthew Hyman. So, the kids will love it. That's what it's all about. Still for
totally.
you, Zuby. The kids happy as can be, I'm sure, with that Christmas setup.
I do love when we're over at the hill right near us through the trees and stuff. You can see our house like when they show like the big in Christmas Vacation,
Glowing.
like the big wide shot of the, and you can see it. That's what I see from the hotel nearby, or the hotel,
Nice.
the sledding hill nearby, and I love it.
All right, folks, thanks for joining us on a late Saturday afternoon. Oilers and Vegas Golden Knights, a 6 o'clock start tomorrow. We will be on post-game, so make sure you hop back into the live stream. Tell a friend. Join us with somebody. Throw us a like on the way out the door. Thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy your Saturday night. We all got a little time left to make the most of our Saturday, Struddy.
I love it. Good night, everyone. Make good choices.
See you tomorrow, everybody. Have a good night. Zuby, great work on the Christmas stuff. Look at all
That's
this.
fun. I didn't get to put this one in the show, so we'll do it here.
Just let it breathe a little.